The book Meditations is not just a philosophy, it's a journal. It's a journal of a man who was an emperor, a philosopher, a saint, a monk, and most importantly, um, a reflector, someone who takes time out of his day to realize what is best for him and the society around him. And a lot of people don't follow this level of mindfulness and introspective awareness, and that is why they suffer. So, in the last video about Stoicism, we talked about equanimity. Okay, equanimity is this idea of being tranquil and composed irrespective of the eight vicissitudes or the winds of life, the external circumstances, praise and, praise and blame, gain and loss, fame and disrepute, pleasure and pain. Okay, if you can remain composed and calm through these winds, you are starting to learn the path of Stoicism. But how? How does one do this? How does one condition and discipline his mind to act with this level of equanimity? Well, you have to be virtuous. So in the last video, I talked about how virtue is a very difficult topic, and I'll expand on it further. Well, this is the video we're going to go over virtue. So we're going to go over the summary of chapter 2 to 4 in Marcus Aurelius' book called Meditations. And these 3 chapters, he really focuses on virtue. And, he says simply, what is virtue? Well, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. It's that simple. We try to make everything complicated because of this 3-pound noggin that's between your 2 ears that confabulates things and that makes things 10 times worse than it actually is, that catastrophizes your emotions and makes you feel like the world is against you. It's because of that. Virtue is very simple. It's your most natural state of being. It's not something that you have to put an effort in. Well, in the beginning, you do have to put effort in, but the idea is that virtue is all about doing the right thing. Okay, and it's simple. But here's the thing: I'm not going to tell you what is right and wrong. YouTube is not going to tell you. There's no guru in the mountains that's going to tell you what is right and wrong. You have to experience it for yourself. Okay, you have to reflect on your own life, be mindful, and understand what is virtue. And how do you know what is virtue? It's very simple. At the subtle level, when you perform virtuous deeds like being generous, giving, being compassionate and kind, helping others in need, being disciplined to speak the truth, irrespective of how it's going to impact you personally. Okay, sometimes, of course, there's going to be limitations, and there are going to be times when you're going to go against virtue, and that's okay. But the intention is there. Okay, virtue doesn't mean you have to be a saint or a monk right away. Virtue means to be disciplined to the point where you are able to tell yourself, I am going to do the right thing, and I'm going to speak the right thing, and I'm going to. So virtue is basically divided into 3 concepts: virtue by body, virtue by mind, and virtue by speech. If you can do, talk, and think rightfully, and again, I'll explain what is right, then you're practicing virtue. And you will automatically feel the change in yourself. You see, the universe gives you exactly what you give it. It reciprocates the positivity that you put out in the world. Okay? So I want you to be mindful of, the times when you put out negativity. At the gross level, you might feel okay, but at the subtle level, you're suffering. Okay, all of us want to be happy. We want to end our suffering. What causes suffering? Your own karma. So please, Marcus Aurelius would say, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Be that one person that acts virtuously, irrespective of how other people around you treat you or act. Okay, and this kind of ties into this next quote, and this is a very important quote that he talks about. Begin the morning by saying to thyself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, the arrogant, the deceitful, the envious, the unsocial. All these things happen to them by reason of their own ignorance of what is good and evil. To act against one another, then, is contrary to nature, and it is acting against one another to be vexed and turn away. He's essentially saying that, wake up realizing that you're going to go through your day and you're going to deal with people that are very rude, disrespectful, annoying, and you're going to deal with situations that are difficult. Okay, that is part of life. And yet you should still have this level of forgiveness towards them. Why? Because people act unvirtuously because of ignorance. Okay? They are unaware of their own suffering they're creating. You see, when someone is angry or making another person feel bad, it is they themselves that are impacting them. Okay, it's not you. They're creating suffering from themselves. So develop a level of virtue in telling yourself, okay, I'm gonna forgive this person. I feel bad for this person because they're creating suffering in their own minds. They're creating seeds of poisons. They're creating seeds of hatred and delusion in their minds, and they are miserable. They're miserable because they can't think of anything positive. Okay, so and this kind of leads to this concept of yin and yang. So we talked about eudomonia last time, okay? This aspect of developing inner peace and not relying on external circumstances. Yin and yang is another important concept in spirituality that says there's always good and bad, white and black, light and dark, and there's always going to be two opposites. And that is what makes the universe whole. Okay? The universe would not exist if we did not have the dualities of reality. So each and every person is going to have aspects of themselves that are good, that are bad, that are positive, that are negative. Our job is not to judge them on certain circumstances. Instead, develop this aspect of realizing everyone is trying to be the best version of themselves, and we should do the same. Okay? And embrace the journey of acceptance. And that goes into concept of Amor Fati. Okay? Amor Fati is this idea that you love your own fate. Love of one's own fate is basically saying that what is given to me in this very moment is something that is the most valuable thing in the world, irrespective of how I judge it. I think of myself as someone who is virtuous. Okay, so when I go out in the world and I see non-virtuous things that hurt me or hurt others, suddenly I start to judge and tell myself, why is this happening? Why is this person doing this stupid thing? Why is this person being so arrogant or ignorant? Don't they realize they're suffering creating themselves? In that moment, tell yourself everything happens for a reason. And this then transitions into the concept of Ichi Go Ichi E. It's a Japanese concept kind of related to Zen Buddhism, and it's basically saying that one moment, one encounter at one time. That's it. It's this idea of being utterly present so that your past and your future vanish and you're able to truly experience and accept what is given to you in this very moment. Okay? And this ties into Amor Fati because you're seeing, I completely love my fate. What has been given to me in this moment, I'm going to make the most of it and act virtuously. So these are a couple themes I've kind of investigated, and this is Marcus Aurelius' main idea behind his chapters 2 to 4 is developing virtue, developing moral discipline, and telling yourself that I will encounter people, I will encounter situations that will drive me nuts, that will make me unvirtuous, that will prompt me to poison my mind with seeds of greed, hatred, and delusion. And irrespective of how that goes, I will still practice virtue. I will be disciplined to be reflective, to be mindful, and to act virtuously. Okay? So I'm going to end off on this idea that, if you deal with a difficult encounter, take a step back. Don't just respond impulsively. Remind yourself that each and every person is dealing with their own problems, and your job is not to go criticize other people, but to be humble, but to work on yourself, to grow yourself, and to be a better man than you were yesterday. I will see you guys in the next one. We'll talk about chapters 5 to 8 in Marcus Aurelius' book, Meditations. Till then, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.